In the village of Utolu, names were not just words, they were mirrors. And the name Obinna mirrored the word abundance. Obinna was the man who provided the music for every celebration and the rice for every funeral. But to understand Obinna's heart, you must know what happened 10 years ago. Back then, Emeka was a man with nothing. His mother was dying of a strange ailment and had no copper for the medicine. Without a word, Obinna went to the city and sold his own father's ancestral wrestling belt, the pride of his lineage, to pay for that surgery. He didn't ask for a refund. He told Emeka, "Your mother is my mother." Years later, when Jude's house was burnt to the ground by a bushfire, it was Obinna who gave him a portion of his own land and the capital to start a poultry farm. Obinna didn't just give, he sacrificed. He believed that by planting kindness in his friends, he was building a forest of protection for his future. But his wife, Adugo, was a woman who could hear the heartbeat of a snake. She watched Emeka and Jude. She saw how they would pack extra food into their bags when Obinna wasn't looking. She saw how they never brought even a single kola to say thank you. One night, Adugo turned down the lantern in their room. "Obinna," she whispered, "the river that gives to everyone eventually dries up. And when the bed of the river is dry, do the fish stay to comfort the sand? No. They find another stream. These men are fish, my husband. They are not foundations." Obinna's heart was heavy. "Adugo, I have been their brother for 20 years. You think they would leave me?" "I don't think it, Obinna. I know it. Let us test them. Let us see if they love the man or the master." The chaos began on a Tuesday. News hit Utolu like a thunderbolt. Obinna's massive shipments of palm oil and timber, everything he had invested in for the year, had capsized in the Great River during a storm. Simultaneously, government officials, who were actually Obinna's trusted relatives in disguise, arrived to seal his warehouses, claiming he owed a debt that exceeded his life's work. Suddenly, Obinna was bankrupt. He sat in his parlor, the lights off, pretending to be a broken man. Adugo went to Emeka. She fell at his gate, a wrapper torn. "Emeka, the debt collector are coming for the house. We only need a small portion of the money Obinna gave you for your mother's life and your shop. Please save your brother." Emeka didn't even open the gate. He shouted from inside, "Is it my fault he was greedy and put all his eggs in one basket? I have my own children to think about. Tell Obinna that friendship ends where the debt begins. I don't want the authorities to see me talking to his family." She went to Jude. Jude was at the local palm wine hut, laughing with other villagers. When he saw Adugo, he didn't offer her water. Instead, he spoke loudly so everyone could hear. "Look at the woman of the man who thought he was a god. Adugo, tell your husband that the gods has finally caught up with him. He probably used charms to get that works, and now the charms have demanded his life. I am busy with the people who have a future." That night, at the village square, the loophole of their cruelty was closed. Emeka and Jude sat together gossiping. "We must make sure we distance ourselves," Emeka said. "In fact, I heard he has a hidden chest of gold in his inner room. If the officials come, I will point it to them. Maybe they will reward me for being a loyal citizen." They weren't just avoiding him. They were ready to feast on his remains. The news finally broke. Obinna, the great river of Utolu, had died of a broken heart. Adugo announced there was no money for a fancy burial. She placed Obinna on a simple wooden plank in the center of the living room, wrapped in a thin white cloth. Emeka and Jude arrived. They didn't come to cry, they came to loot. They walked into the room where the body lay. They thought Adugo was in the kitchen, but she was watching through a crack in the door. Finally, Jude whispered, looking at the body, "He is gone. Emeka, look at the gold chain on his neck." It is the one his grandfather gave him. It's worth more than your shop and mine combined. He is the only son of his father, so nobody would even care. Take it quickly, Emeka urged, his eyes darting around. He doesn't need gold where he's going. We will sell it and start a new business in the city. Obinna would have wanted us to prosper, wouldn't he? Jude reached out. His sweaty, greedy fingers touched Obinna's cold neck. He began to pull the chain. Suddenly, the cuff's hand snapped up. Obinna's finger locked around Jude's throat like a trap of iron. Jude let out a sound like a dying goat. Emeka tried to scream, but no sound came out. He fell backward, hitting his head against the wall. Obinna sat up. He ripped the white clothes from his body and stood tall. He looked like a god of vengeance. Jude, Obinna said, his voice deep and vibrating, with the pain of 20 years of betrayed love. Is my gold so bright that it blinded you to the fact that I am still warm? Emeka, you who I sold my father's honor to save your mother, you were the one to tell the village I used rituals? They fell to the floor, crawling like insects. Obinna, please, it was the devil. We were just trying to keep the gold from the debt collectors. The only debt collectors here are the ones I sent, Obinna barked. He opened the front door and there stood the government officials, who were actually his brothers from his mother's side. Every land I gave you, every shop I built for you, it was all in my name. I only let you use them. Today the lead is over. By the time the sun sets, if your footprints are still on my land, I will treat you like the thieves you have proven to be. As the two friends ran into the streets, half naked and screaming in shame, the whole village saw their nakedness. Obinna didn't chase them. He just stood on his porch with Adugu. My wife, he said, you told me the river would dry up. It did, but it dried up so I could see the poisonous snakes living at the bottom. In the village of Otolo, they no longer call Obinna the river. They call him the mirror. Because in his presence, you don't see him. You see exactly who you are. And remember this, my people. A man who feeds everyone is a king, but the man who knows who is feeding is a wise man.
Thank you for listening to this tale. If you enjoyed this story, please remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who loves folk tales. I'd love to hear from you. Tell me in the comments who your favorite character was and why. Your support helps keep these stories alive. Until the next tale, stay curious, stay inspired.